All right, so standing, first of all, toes pointing forwards, feet as wide as your hips. Good, feel the feet directly underneath the hips. And just remember my plumb line analogy as far as your posture is concerned. So think about a plumb line going from through your shoulders, through your elbows, through your hips, knees and ankles. And then hopefully you get that nice stance, stacked, everything stacked, one thing on top of the next. So bending your knees very slightly, that generally brings your knees in line with that plumb line. Scoop and tuck your bottom under, drop those ribs down, chest broad, nice and open, tuck and lengthen up through the back of the neck, arms down by your sides, and just swaying your weight from side to side. We normally do this with the hands on the hips, but sometimes just slightly changing the position can have an effect. You have to work a little bit harder maybe, I don't know. Probably not much. It's a very simple exercise, but it's just a little bit different, isn't it? Forwards, side to side first, and then let's go forwards and backwards to the toes, to the heels. Remember when you come back through your heels to scoop in a little bit through your tummy, onto the toes, onto the heels, scoop in a little bit. Good. The going backwards is probably more important than the going forwards to the toes, to be honest. Good. Let's bring the hands onto the hips, because for this next one I want us to circle around. It's quite a small circle. Front, side, back, side. Good. Front, side, back. Lovely. Good. Paula's had the same idea. Is that you, Paula, there? Yeah. Good. So just circling, trying to draw that circle with your hips. Around in a circle, and then let's go the other way, and you're just thinking all those little muscles around here, around your legs, and even your feet are sort of twitching to control that circular movement there. Brilliant. Let's stand on the right leg on its own. Now if you prefer to lift up your foot behind you or in front of you, I'll go with either. Now hands down by your side. Can we just very slowly tilt the body from side to side, stretching down with one arm and then stretching with the other? Gosh, so you're having to work really hard through that standing leg, but recruit everything. Recruit around your tummy, around your hip, working everything to try and stabilise. Don't just leave it to chance. Actually try and work some of those muscles that are controlling that movement. Good, coming back down. Take the weight onto the other leg and side to side. Oh, you got to go easy on yourself to start with because it's quite hard. Oh, make sure you take some nice deep breaths, get some energy into those muscles. Brilliant. Really important we work on our balance. Don't leave it until you feel like you're getting old to work on some of the things that can be a problem when you get old. I think work on them now, and then it's not such a problem. Stop there. Oh, give your legs a little shake. Let's do a nice easy one to loosen off around the feet and the ankles, lifting up one heel, and swap, and swap. Pushing one heel down at a time. Do you know what? Every time my heel comes down to the floor, I feel everything tighten and squeeze and stabilise. It's such a strong movement to do. Push each heel down to the floor. Push the heel down. Squeeze the thigh. Ribs down, chest open, chin tucked. Good. Pushing the ankle forwards. Stabilising around those hips. Don't let them move at all. Good. Dropping the shoulders. Pull your shoulder blades down away from your ears. Nice. Lovely. Still with the ankles. Let's pull up onto the toes, bend your knees, heels down, back up. Toes, bend the knees, heels down, back up. Keep going. I feel all sorts going on around my toes and my feet while I'm doing this one. Makes me think it's a great one to do to stabilise around the feet and the ankles to prevent all those horrible foot and ankle problems that people get, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, or tendinopathy we call it these days. 2 more. And last one. Lovely. Heels together, toes apart. First position in ballet, so I believe. Bend both knees. We're scooping the bottom under, tucking under, drop the shoulders, point your foot out to 45 degrees from the midline. Lift and down with that leg. Don't turn towards it, otherwise it just ends up with a quad exercise. You're just lifting like that. Good. It's a side exercise. We're working that glute at the side, so by all means have your hand on that glute. Make it work. Putting your hand on it or poking your fingers into it, tell it to work. With that standing leg, rotate your knee out, lift up your arch. And with your body, don't let it lean over this way. Keep it upright. Let's just do the ankle. Point and flex. 3, 4. I don't know what she's snuffling for down there. Hopefully she's being useful and it's some kind of ant's nest or something. I don't know. Come back in. Sink a little bit lower, because no doubt you've just come up a little bit out of it. Take your weight back onto your heels. Squeeze your glutes. Point the toe out to the side. Everything pointing forwards. Hips forward, chest open, chin tucked. Lift up your arch on that standing leg. Lift and down. Being careful not to just lift with that quad. Think about the glute. Good. Get your abdominals to get involved as well. Take a nice deep breath. Lovely. And then just the ankle. Brilliant. Bring that leg in. Lovely work through the glutes. So let's have a lot more relaxed stance, hip width apart, swinging the arms forwards as we squat. Forwards as we squat. Good. You see from the side, sit back onto the heels, bring the arms forward. Squeeze your glutes on the way up. Drop your shoulders, broaden your chest, tuck your chin. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Then open your chest as you come up tall. 2 more. Lovely. Step your feet wide. Toes out, knees out, up tall, pushing the knees out to the side to squat down. So think less about lowering yourself down. Think about pushing the knees out. Every slightly different way of thinking about an exercise just brings something more, it brings something slightly different. Pushing the knees out. Good. Tightening up through your thighs and squeezing as you come up. Squeezing everything as you come up. So these exercises, we always think about them opening out the hips when we squat down, but broaden and open out as you come up by squeezing the glutes. Good, let's come all the way down. Push your knees out to the sides there. Lift up the chest and the head, sinking down with the hips. Breathe. Good, lovely. Coming up again out of that. Let's turn to the side. Up high on that back foot. Ooh, get your balance first. Everything pointing forwards. Bottom tucked under, which means that you have to bend that back knee slightly to allow that tuck of the bottom under. Push your heel down and pull back up. Push down and pull up. 3, 4, good, keep going. 5, 6, 7, well done. 8, 9, lock out that front knee. 10, lovely. Step back in, step the other leg back. So I didn't give you a lot of guidance about that front knee on that first exercise, so make sure you lock out your front knee, the back knee's a little bit bent, everything pointing forwards, push the heel down and come back up. Each of those is just as important. Pushing down with the heel to stretch, pulling back up onto the toe. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, come back in. We're going to stay facing the side here for our RDLs. Let's do a double leg one today. It is different, but you can exaggerate the position. I was teaching someone an RDL yesterday in a physio session, and we ended up doing a double leg one. And you can feel them quite nicely. Ideally if you've got some weights in your hands, but let's not necessarily today. Make the fists as if you're holding on to weights. Stretch your bottom backwards. You see how far my bottom goes backwards compared with my heels on the floor, and then my hips come forward. So the movement is pushing the hip back and then pulling the hips forwards. So push the hips back. Good, we could do about 20 of these. Let's say we've done 3, 4, push the hips back and come forwards. Weight goes back through your heels. 5, 6, head up, chest up, really open. 7, don't collapse down at all. 8, 9, good. You go as far as you can until those hamstrings stop you. 10, 11, good. See how far down your legs you can touch with your fingertips. 12, 13 without collapsing the spine. 14, 15, good. Squeeze in as you come up. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, hamstrings are very strange in the way that if you do lots of squats for your quads, they burn as you're doing them. For hamstrings, they feel a bit pingy as you're going backwards and forwards, but it's only afterwards that you feel it. So if you found those hard, then you will probably feel a bit of aching in your hamstrings afterwards. All right, stand on the end of your mat. Take a nice deep breath in, drop the chin and curl your way down. Hello. Get your octopus all the way down to the bottom. Let your arms hang heavy, your head hang heavy. Good. Wiggle around a little bit just to loosen off any tensions in your back. Bend and straighten alternate knees. Do let those muscles in your neck go. It's really important. It gives you a lot of relaxation around the neck and a little bit of traction. Traction on those neck cervical vertebrae is not a bad thing. So the weight of your head hanging down with relaxed muscles gives you traction on the neck. It feels lovely. Good, good. Let's bend and straighten the knees a few times, all the way down, all the way up. So when you go down, you feel a stretch through those deep calves. You push your heels down towards the floor. When you come up, you let your arms go and your head go heavy. Sit down onto your heels, push your heels down into the floor, drop your shoulders, and then come back up tall again. Good, enough of that. Onto your hands and knees. Good. Okay, so let's do a strange one here, just to play with your minds. Stretch your right arm out in front. Nice rest there for me, you don't have a rest. Stretch your left leg out, up, down, in, and then your right. Out, up, down, in. You're gonna have to move quite your weight around through those heels. We've got the left arm up in front. Good. Bring that hand into the middle if you like. If you bring it into the middle, you can work it harder when you're doing the same arm as leg. Good. Don't expect the body to be completely still on this one. We're working on shoulder stability on that weight-bearing arm. Good. Swap sides. Quite hard work, isn't it? Other hand on the floor. Bring it a little bit more to the middle. Okay. Other arm out in front. Stretch out. Lift down in. That's the easy one. And then same arm as leg. Ooh. Feel a bit maybe stronger on this leg, maybe more stable, I don't know. I think I'm lying. Good. It's always nice to have that little challenge, isn't it, every now and again? A very different exercise that requires that bit more, just to remind yourself just how stable you need to be. Good. Oh, stop there. We've got the Olympics coming up, haven't we? So that's the time that we're all watching these extraordinary athletes, and you know, thankfully these days a lot of them do Pilates, and they all do moves like that that really challenge their bodies. Coming forwards, dropping the hips. There were pictures of the England team actually doing Pilates, I noticed a couple of days before the final. They all looked particularly tight and stiff, I've got to say. Good. Coming up onto your hands and knees again. Both elbows on the floor. Clasp your hands like so. Stretch your right leg back. Lift down in. So the same exercise, but we're down on the elbows. So this is a very different one. We've got a very stable base now. The whole of our forearms is our stable base. Good. Please don't bite my hands. Are you teasing? Good. Drawing in your tummy. Reminding yourself that you have to use those lower tummy muscles, ow, to stabilise as much as you can. Trying not to rotate your hips to the side each time. Now then, a few hamstrings. We did hamstrings as far as that action on the hip is concerned. Let's do hamstrings as far as that action on the knee is concerned. So here, this is still a hamstring exercise like the RDL. That right leg's out for bending and straightening. 3, 4, 5, 6. Try not to rotate the hips. 7, 8, 9, 10. Come down, you can't play with both at the same time. Other leg. Out, correct the hips, clasp the hands, tap the toe down each time. 1, 2, 3. You may even feel a stretch through the quad on these ones. 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Brilliant. All right, stop there. We are coming down, actually into sitting, coming round into sitting, I should say. Heels planted firmly on the floor. Sitting bones planted firmly on the floor as well. Arms out in front of you. Somebody asked me the other day how far you curl back on these ones. Just until you come to the end of your pelvic tilt. That's as far as you should go. So it's just a pelvic tilt backwards. And then you stop. And then you pull up tall. Oh, not my toes. Come in. Curl back and pull up tall. Keep the arms out in front of you. Curl back and pull up tall. Good. Drop the shoulders. Keep the elbows straight. And keep the chin tucked and neck lengthened the whole time. Scoop in, curl up. Scoop in, curl up. Good. Last one. And then come forward, straighten out your legs and come forwards, tuck your chin, feel that stretch up through the backs of the legs, maybe through the spine itself, maybe through the shoulders, but tuck through the chin. Tucking the chin might give you a bit of a nerve stretch down through the backs of the legs. That's all right temporarily, nothing too strong. Good. Arms out in front, palms together. Curl back, straight legs this time. Rotate and clap. Rotate and clap. 3, 4, 5, straight arms. 6, scoop in the tummy. 7, 8, same side. Oh, 9, 10. We're going to go the other side now. I apologise if anyone was alternating. Continue alternating if you were. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Brilliant. Bring those knees in, hug your knees in and just relax after that last one. Good, good. We are going to do a couple of rolling like a ball. So I've had to shuffle forwards on my mat. Do so if you know you need to, because we're going to be rolling backwards. Hold on around your knees. Your feet need to be off the floor there. Knees and toes pinned together. Ow. And curl back. And then come up and stop. Feet up off the floor. Curl back. Roll back. Pull up and stop with the feet up off the floor. 3. Oh, let's just do 6 of these. Lead with the toes when you go back. 5, draw in the tummy, keep strong. And 6. Brilliant. All right, let's come down onto our backs. Feet are hip width apart. I would like you to tuck through your chin, lengthen up through the back of the neck. Really important to try and maintain that throughout. Broaden out through the chest. Pull your shoulders down away from your ears. Take a nice deep breath in, as deep as it will go, into the lower outer lungs. Breathe out and sink those ribs down into the floor. Feel them melting down into the floor. Good. Arch and settle your back a few times. Go through that pelvic tilt routine. Good. A few times. You'll feel your head sliding up and down the mat. If you don't, then make it do so. That will be it working there. Find that little arch. Tighten through your pelvic floor. Make sure it's not too fast. You're not grabbing at that. You're doing it slowly, tightening through the pelvic floor. Feet are hip width apart. Good. Lift and lower each leg. Good. Now I found myself again the other day explaining to a client why it's so important to do these low level exercises that we're doing now. These level 1 Pilates exercises, they really do work really nice and strongly to draw in that lower tummy, to support and hug the spine. But it's all very strange. You don't feel that it's working. You don't know that it's working. You've got no concept of tightening through. Whether we're talking aesthetics or whether we're talking spine and lower back health, it's all about these simple little exercises here, layered up with the hard ones that we do as well. So don't put any less emphasis on these ones that I'm doing right now, just because it doesn't feel like you're doing enormous amounts. Make sure you're as stable as possible, but don't worry that you don't feel anything really working as you do it. Start lowering one knee out to the side at a time. Side and back up, side and back up. Good. Try not to rock the hips from side to side. And as you do it, remind yourself of the positions. Tuck the chin, broaden the chest. Find that little arch in the back. Tighten through the pelvic floor, but not too strongly that you're having to brace everything. Good. Now then, tabletop with the right. Push and stretch away. Back in and down. And then the other leg. Tabletop out, in, down. Make sure that you straighten that leg fully each time, all the way straight, push out and away. Try to elongate and stretch away. If you prefer a flexed foot on the end, then do that. Good. Lovely. And then take the weight onto your left leg. Bring the right leg up to tabletop. Make sure everything's nice and, oh, not like this, nice and stable, and circle that right leg out. You're drawing a circle with your knee, not drawing a circle with the foot. You're drawing a circle with the knee. The whole of the lower leg follows it. Good. And you're trying to keep everything as stable as you can as you do it. Bring that leg down, transfer the weight onto that leg, seamlessly pick up the other one and circle outwards. You're pushing down gently into the stable leg. Nice. Bring that leg down. Okay, we're moving on to the next level of exercise. Bring that right leg up. I like hands on the front of the ribs here. Right leg up, draw the ribs down, scoop in the tummy, pick up your left. Down. Oh my God, I'm being attacked. Right leg up, left, right down, left down. Right leg up, left, right down, left down. Good. Drawing in through your tummy. Tuck your chin. Broaden your chest. Ribs down. Scoop in that lower tummy. Nice. And swap legs. Other leg first. Oh my God. Keep everything seamless. So when you pick up that second leg, your lower tummy is still flat. Good, it's not bulging outwards. You'll feel this urge to push out and brace outwards. Good. All right, knees and toes together. Push the knees over to the right. Draw them back to the center. Push the knees over to the left. Draw them back. You're moving as one whole piece. Think of yourself a bit like a mermaid. Over to one side, over to the other side. Draw back to the center. Pull back into the center, but don't flatten your back. Just pull back to the center and do not flatten your back. Tucking the chin. Broaden your chest. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. Nice deep breath to continue. Good. Lovely. Legs up to tabletop. Right leg first. Join it with the left. Let's stretch the right leg out. This is one of my more difficult exercises. Bring it down and up. Straight leg down and up. And if you feel like you need to, have the other leg on the floor. So you could be doing it like that. Oh, Cosmo, stop. Good. And then the other leg. So we're still up in tabletop. Stretch out the other leg. I'm just going to get rid of this little thing. Keep going with that next exercise. Hopefully everyone's managed somehow to do some nice ones. Come back in and back down. All right, abs from the top half. Elbows wide, chin tucked. Good, shoulders down away from your ears. Scoop and crunch and lower. And crunch. We are keeping that little arch in the back. So remember those springs that draw down at the back. Scooping in that lower tummy, tucking the chin, lengthening up through the back of the neck. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go for 3 more. 14, 15. Good. Bring your head and shoulders down and your arms down by your sides. Bring your heels close to your bottom. Tucking under, curling up, pushing your knees away and curling back down. Our best to use our glutes for this. We're pushing the knees away. Breathing in at the top, breathe out and curl, curl, curl back down. 1 more of these, tucking under, flattening that lower back. Pushing the knees away. Breathe in at the top, breathe out and try and sink, sink, sink those ribs down and curl back down. All right, 1 difficult abs exercise towards the end here. Right leg up, left leg up, draw in your tummy, hands behind your head, crunch, elbows nice and wide, stretch out the right leg, rotate to the left. 1, 2, 3. Good, you're rotating around your spine. 6, 7, you're straightening your knee all the time. You're locked down at the front, but also around the spine at the back. Keep breathing into those lower outer ribs. 4 more. Brilliant. Bring those knees in. Lovely. Turning onto your side. Let's get some glutes done. Okay. Flat on your side. Tuck the ribs back. Tuck the hips back. Scoop the bottom under. Push that top hip away from you. Even if it's this part of your body has to come towards your hips to push this top hip down and away from you. Elongate away from you along that thigh. Scoop in through your tummy, lifting your top knee. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 13. Let's do 20 here. 15, 16, 17. 20, bring your feet up. If I ever said 20 with your feet down and 20 with your feet up is what you should be able to do for these clams. 3, 4, squeeze in, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another 10. 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. So that's 20, and then we usually go on to do a few more things. So count yourself above average with these. Bottom leg down, top leg in front of you, that knee's pointing straight in front of the hip and the same height as the hip. And then we're pushing out with it along the body there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Let's go for another 10. 2. And you should really feel that working through that hip, side of the hip. 5, 6, 7. It's hard, I know. 8, 9, 10. Oh, lovely. All right, other side. And just let me remind you that you should only really feel that in and around the hip, around the glutes. Tuck the bottom hip back, tuck the ribs back, scoop and tuck under, push that top hip away from you. Good, feet in line with your bum, pushing and elongating along that thigh, and lift and down. Good. So when I say you should only feel it in the hip, it's all right to sort of feel it just to sort of nick a line, I suppose. And then anything below that, you could feel tiredness here, but not aching, or the full work, or the inner thigh shouldn't be working, and the lower leg, same, shouldn't be working. So you should just feel it in the glute. Good. Keep going. Haven't been counting, I reckon that's about 20. Feet up, readjust if you need to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, another 10. 9. So there's your 20 down, 20 up. Assume that position with your knee in front of your hip. Make sure it's high enough and your feet are high enough. Push away. Good. 2. Straighten the leg all the way each time. 10. Have we got another 10 on this side, of course? And breathe. 8, 9, 10. Oh my gosh, well done. That was hard to say. Sitting up, crossing your legs, pushing your knees down and leaning forwards into it. This is enough for me, just to lean my elbows onto my knees there. So maybe you'll find the same. Good, and then just a little wiggle from side to side, and you can feel one glute more than the other. Perhaps think about swapping the legs over. Always feels a bit weird. Side to side. Good. Legs out in a V. Important we keep those adductors going. Good. And again, just that little shimmy from side to side can be enough. You've got a little stretch on it by just leaning forwards into it a little bit, and then just a slight movement from side to side. For the average person anyway, that's enough. Good. Lovely. Let's have one leg forwards, the other one back. And coming up into kneeling and stretching around and straight up with this one. So tucking under, lunging forwards into it, feeling that hip flexor stretch, that back hip flexor stretch. Stabilising through that front foot a little bit. Good, sit back a little way there. Feeling the stretch down through the hamstring. Good stuff. Bring that leg back, the other one forward, stretching up with the arms, remember. Stretching the hip flexor, tucking the bottom under. Great. Sitting back into the heel. Breathe in, breathe out. Good, hands and knees. Let's do some arch and drop here. Good, if you thread the needles, stretching up and through. Good. 2. One more. Lovely, and then the other side. 1. Good. 2. Stretch up and round as far as you can. 3. Good work. All right, from here, tuck your toes under, stretch your bottom up, push down into your heels. Find where you feel more comfortable, where your hands and your feet are. Walk your hands towards your feet a little bit if you want to, or keep them nice and wide, pushing alternate heels down to the floor. And remember to stretch forwards as well with that knee. That stretches out through the toes and the foot. Breathe in, breathe out and sink your shoulders down. And then walk your hands to your feet. Hanging there. Breathe in, breathe out, sink down. And then curling your way back up. Good. Roll those shoulders a couple of times. Nice deep breath in, breathe out, drop through the shoulders, drop through the ribs, draw in through your tummy, ready to continue with the rest of your day. So thank you very much for joining me.